All right, how to make a fortune off of storage facilities. Welcome back to the channel. This is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Look, I told y'all it's Black Friday pre-sale for the Real Estate Investors Manifesto. Go to mgbookstore.com. Take advantage of the Black Friday sale. The book releases on 12/9, but get the Black Friday bundle so that way you don't miss out on a great opportunity to be a part of the real estate investing webinar that's happening on December 15th. We're going to put the links in the comments in the description of this video so that way you guys can take advantage. But again, go to mgbookstore.com. Now, like, comment, share, subscribe. Send this out to all your good folks. We got a special episode, and I was going to do this pre-recorded. I'm not even going to hold y'all up. I wasn't going to do this live. Jordana wanted to do this pre-recorded too. But Tukes came in here and said, fuck it, let's do it live. We got this eCam, and we want to see how the content and the quality is. So we're doing it live. All right? So I'm bringing on a special guest today. We're going to talk about storage facilities. So I had to bring in my guy, the young mogul himself, my guy, Ramel. Welcome to the studio. We're in-house. What do you think about the studio, first and foremost?
Man, it's dope in here, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Brother. Thank you
the
for coming.
Setting is a super vibe, man. I'm blessed to be
I should
here.
have had a shot or something, some tequila or something.
I thought you was
to
going to
get
have it
right.
ready for me.
Jordana. Jordana,
Yeah.
tomorrow's shooting, we need tequila on deck.
Okay.
Part of the set.
All right, copy.
Yeah, I need to come tomorrow then, yeah?
We gotta have tequila, we gotta have some wine, we gotta make sure we get the mood right.
Facts.
But let's get into this, right? Let's talk about storage facility. I always see you all over Instagram, TikTok, doing your thing, and you're always talking about how to make a fortune off of storage facilities. So first of all, tell the people who you are, introduce yourself, just in case people don't know who you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my name is Ramel New Worlds, 30 years old, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, commercial real estate investor, credit coach. And, I teach people how to go out there and buy commercial real estate, self-storage facilities in particular. And you do it with no money down strategies, creatively financing these deals. So, I've been in the real estate business for 8 years.
Okay.
I started out.
How old are you?
30,
30 years old.
Yeah.
So you got in this at 22.
22.
Damn.
Yeah.
How did
30.
you, wait, first of all, let's start there.
Yeah.
22 years old. How did you get into real estate? What was your first deal like?
So my very first deal was a brownstone in Brooklyn. So it was
Okay.
a 2-family brownstone. I was marketing. I was sending out letters. I was cold calling, doing all the dirty work. And I ended up coming across a motivated family, right? They was going through a pre-foreclosure. So as you know, he was behind in their mortgage payments. So I ended up getting it under contract. So I got it under contract for $590,000. But I didn't have the money, right? I tried to apply for a mortgage. I got denied because I was only making $50,000 a year at that time working for Pepsi. So I didn't get approved. So I had to figure out a
50,000
way.
at 22 is nothing to sneeze at, though.
Yeah, it wasn't. But to buy almost a $600,000 asset,
Yeah.
the bank says too risky, right?
Facts.
But I couldn't let that deal fall through my fingers. So I would go to a bunch of different real estate meetups, and I would bring my business cards. I would talk about this deal to see if I can get any investors to work with me. And by the grace of God, I ended up finding a lady who became my mentor, old enough to be my grandmother. But she said, I see something in you. You look, you remind me of my son. And I showed her the deal. She connected me to another investor, and he actually put up the entire $590,000 for me. I just had to give him 50% equity in the deal. So we got it, we purchased it, we put about $40,000 worth of renovation in it, put it on the market, sold it for $1.2 million, made 6 figures in real estate, my very first deal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Drop some gems in the comments for that one.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
that doesn't, well, first of all, guys, that doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen often at all. But damn, 6 figures, your first real estate deal.
Yeah.
From multifamilies to now storage facilities.
Facts.
All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Storage facilities. I need to know the 101 on this, right? Because that sounds like it's high level commercial real estate investing. You don't really hear black people talking about storage facilities at all. This is not like what's cool and popular in our community when we think about real estate investing. So how did you even get into storage facilities and why?
Great question. So, if you think about like 50 Cent, Bryson Tiller, you got the first album and you do a bunch of numbers on your first album, that sophomore album is pretty tough, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I look at it the same way with my real estate career. My first deal was crazy. I didn't hit that type of deal going forward, right? So, I'm hitting base hits. I bought another property, and I end up getting 40 rental units, 40 doors, combination of 2 units, 4 units, single families. But in 2020, pandemic happened. And I had a good amount of my tenants, about 40% of my tenants, stop paying their rent. So now I'm stuck with the mortgage, right? Taxes, insurance, maintenance, water, sewer, everything you could think of, and I'm not getting the cash flow. So now I'm debt heavy, right? But I'm cash poor. So I had to pivot. I'm like, how could I, maneuver around this situation? And I started selling off a lot of my assets. And at that time, you people paying over asking price, interest rates are low. So I said, let me liquidate, get some cash back in, and then I could continue to swim through this process. And one property in particular, it was a 2-family that I had somebody that was offering me over asking price, $20,000 over asking price, but he wanted me to deliver the property vacant. And I had a tenant in there. So I offered cash for keys to the tenant. I said, hey, I just need you out. I don't care if you owe me, just leave, take the $2,000. He accepted, but he said, I need you to put my items in a storage unit for 90 days until I find a new place to stay. So I started looking for a storage unit, couldn't find anything. Everything was sold out, and the light bulb went off. I said, hold on. I need to be on this side of the business, right? Why is every single unit sold out? What's going on? And that's when I started YouTubing, Googling, researching, and I paid for a mastermind. I learned this whole new world. I flew out to Arizona, only black person in the room, 4, 5, $10 million deals. Everybody's raising capital. How much was that mastermind? 25,000.
25,000 mastermind.
25,000.
Okay. Keep going.
And from that point on, being able to learn all the resources, I was able to go out there and buy my first self-storage facility, 88-unit facility in Pennsylvania back in 2020, 2 years ago. My first facility, that's how I got in the game. But if I didn't look to pivot out of what was happening currently in the real estate market, I wouldn't have found the opportunity to transition over to the self-storage space.
So you said a lot of things that are interesting right there, right? You was debt heavy.
Yeah.
Debt heavy, but no cash flow coming in. So instead of being married to these properties, you had no emotion. So you say, you know what, let me unload. Let me liquidate. And then you took those proceeds and then purchased an 88-unit facility.
Correct.
That's powerful, right? Now, another thing was powerful is you invested in your education because you did the Googles and the YouTube universities for free, but you said, no, that's not enough. I know there's more that they're not telling me, and you went and invested into yourself to learn more. So I always love when I hear people because you have to invest in yourself. A lot of people think they just want to do everything on YouTube and Google, which these are great platforms to learn, but also at the same time, you have to invest into your education.
Facts.
So in that mastermind, it taught you how to buy, basically, really the deep details of buying storage facilities and analyzing them, I'm assuming, correct?
Correct, absolutely.
So when you found this deal, first of all, how did you find this deal? And why Philadelphia or Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania. So it's Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. It's a sub-market.
Okay.
And the reason why I purchased in Fayetteville, Pennsylvania is because it's a sub-market and it was a cheaper asset, right? It was 88 units. And in the mastermind that I paid for, it was people that was buying 600 units, 700 units. I'm like, whoa, that's too big for me, right? I'll start out with an 88 unit. So it was something just for me to get my feet.
And how much did that cost you?
$750,000.
$750 for 88 units.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, $750 for 88 units. I leveraged the SBA. So I found a deal on LoopNet. So I just went on LoopNet, and I don't find deals like that anymore, but that was my first deal, right? I'm just trying to, get in the game, eager. This facility that was on LoopNet, I reached out to the broker. We went through the process, and, we leveraged the SBA, which we'll talk about that, but that's how I did it.
But why Pennsylvania, right? Because I know there has to be areas or top areas to invest in storage facilities. I mean, they're everywhere. Anywhere you go, well, I could tell you in New York, you can't drive up and down Long Island without seeing storage facilities being built or they're already existing. And normally these big ass buildings with hundreds, hell, we have a storage facility, right, that we use and we store our equipment and things of that nature in too. So what made you choose Pennsylvania versus New York?
I couldn't afford it. It'd just be 100% with you, right? Buying a storage facility in New York City, you're talking $2, $3, $4 million, for this type of square footage because the price is crazy. And so 2-3 hours out in Pennsylvania, that's just a drive for me to go out there and I can now get in the game. I won't make the same type of money, but your answer simply put, I couldn't afford going to buy that type of asset, especially my first asset too.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go out, and still
out of state
be
investing, basically.
That's a fact.
Live in New York, but let me get something that's cheaper
That's
and
a
get
fact.
more bang for my buck. So how do you analyze these facilities? What numbers are you looking at when you're looking at a deal?
So there's a few ways I want to evaluate, right? Number one, we look at supply index. So that's the first tool. So if I'm going to buy a facility, the way you get the supply index is you get the total amount of storage units in a 5-mile radius. So if there's 4 or 5 facilities in that 5-mile radius, you're going to total up the amount of units, right? So let's say if it's 4,000 total units within a 5-mile radius, I'm going to divide that by the total population in that 5-mile radius. And then if that number is 7% below, that's going to determine whether or not I'm going to do it. If it's below 7, now I want to invest. If it's not, then I'm probably going to stay away from it. And the reason why that supply index is important is because we want to go where the people is, right? So it's based upon population. Where are the homes? Where are the hospitals? Where are the schools? Like, where are the businesses, right? If you're buying a facility in the middle of nowhere, who's going to drive out to the sticks to rent out a unit? You know, so that's one of the tools. And obviously, it's commercial real estate. So we are buying a business. We're buying an income stream. So I want to look at my cash on cash return. How much money am I putting up in my pocket? How long is it going to take me to get that money back? Is there any room for expansion, right? Can I add on different streams of income? And we'll break that down. But, you know, where's the value add? You know, those are kind of like the things I want to look at initially when I'm determining if I want to buy a facility.
So supply, what you call it?
Supply index.
And then cash on cash return. Cash on cash return is universal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for any type of investing that you're doing, you always want to look at your cash on cash.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's dig into this then. So you have your supply index. It meets the numbers. It's below 7% once you do your math. Now, what are you looking at? Because, like, I'm thinking about my storage facility right now. There's all these different size units, right? How do you really determine if, like, that building is worth it buying it? Because some of these building spaces will have, like, 8x8s or 8x10s and then 10x20s, you know, and so forth and so on. But I've seen storage facilities where they just, it's too small, right? So how do you really determine, like, what's the right one to invest in, even if it meets your below 7% numbers? Like, how do you determine, like, all right, this is it? Like, or is it like for example, when you're looking at multifamilies, you're looking at, all right, what's the bedroom bathroom count?
Yep.
Right? Is it 2-bed ones? Is it 3 ones? Like, what do you really? But you know, if you got a 3-1, that's going to give you the best and highest return on for that unit, right? Is it kind of like the same thing when you're looking at storage facilities?
Same concept.
Okay.
Same concept. So 10x10s, 10x15s is the standard, like 1 bedroom, maybe 2 bedroom. That's typically what most renters rent out, 10x10s or 10x15s. So, but I look at it the same way we do with an apartment building. We'll say, hey, if this is a 1, 2, 3 bedroom, you know, that's going to determine how much I want to pay for it. But it ultimately boils down to square footage, right?
Square footage.
Because we could turn a 5x10 into a 5x25. We could open it up. We could do all the renovations to it. So it's more so how much square footage do I have? Can I even add to it, right? I can do an expansion and add more units onto it. But it's you know, that's pretty much how it goes.
So you can basically rehab your storage facility and outfit it the way you want to maximize. So you can take it from, all right, this maybe have 88 units, for example, but if we make this 75 units instead of 88, it'll still give us a better ROI on our investment. Kind of the same philosophy, basically.
Correct.
So you can convert your units.
Correct.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's just like, because it's commercial real estate, so it's just like buying apartment buildings. The only difference I like to articulate is that you don't have to deal with people living in your units. That's the biggest difference, right? I don't have to deal with somebody living in there every day and that wear and tear. I don't have to deal with plumbing, kitchens, bathrooms, toilets, right? Because when you own apartment buildings, yes, you get the cash flow, but when that tenant decides to move out in 2 or 3 years, now I got to put a new kitchen in. Absolutely. Right? I have to put a new bath. Now, all of that money that I'm investing, I have to go and recoup it versus a self-storage facility. When somebody moves out, all I'm doing is, you know, power wash, mop, get them out of there, get the same next tenant in there, turn it over, so I don't have to spend as much money.
And if they don't pay their bill, you can keep their ish.
Facts.
Because they signed the contract. So let's talk about the business aspect of it, right? Because when you're buying a storage facility, obviously there's people working there already.
Yep.
There's a business that has its own name. So you're buying the building, and the building, it's a building and a business.
Facts.
All in one. So you could even go ahead and sell the business itself, but still keep the building and have the business pay you rent.
Absolutely.
So it's like a 2-for-1.
Yep.
So when you're evaluating a storage facility, are you looking? How are you analyzing the business now that's already in there? Because you don't want to have no deadbeats kind of working from you. You expect to get they're your property managers, right? So is it kind of like the same thing as when you buy multifamilies and you hire your property manager, you get them in and get them out or whatever the case may be? Like, because if I don't like my property manager, I'm gonna fire them. Yeah. Right. So if I buy this storage facility business, are you married to the people that are running it?
No, so in my 88 unit, I don't have nobody that even work at the facility. I don't have anybody there. No. So it's a small enough facility where I have everything automated. So when
you got to talk about this, brother. Like, I didn't know that shit. Yep. Like, you got to talk about this.
Everybody, like somebody wants a unit, they just go online and they can rent the unit online. Once they pay and get the space online, they're going to get an automated email that gives you the code. Your code is now going to allow you to put it in the gate, and you go right in, you go straight to your unit. You put your own lock on there. It's really there. So I only have somebody go there once a week just to clean up or just to pick up trash and see what's going on. But I don't have anybody actually working the facility. I have cameras and I have VAs that I pay that manage the cameras for me. Just watch the cameras all day. Give you a couple of hours. You know how the VAs go.
Yeah.
You know, they watch the cameras all day long. But I don't have any management or payroll as far as like daily at the facility.
That's a gem.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So you basically have really no. So what's the overhead like?
So the overheads, if you're financing, right? So you got your debt coverage. You got to pay that. Obviously, I have my management payroll that's going to go there and clean up on a weekly basis.
Your maintenance.
My maintenance. Like my snow removal when it's snowing is up in Pennsylvania. Lawn care, taxes, things like that. But it's not as heavy. So it's typically my expense ratio is about 30%.
30%. 30%. Now, how much is this storage facility bringing? Now, I got to get in your business now.
Oh, yeah.
Because now I'm curious, right? So you got an 88-unit storage facility in Pennsylvania, no employees, basically, that work every single day. Because I'm used to the ones out here on the island. Yeah. You got the front desk clerk and everything like that, right? So that's, in my mind, I'm thinking everything is like that. Yeah. But you have a self-contained storage facility. Yeah. All automated, all technology.
Correct.
And just somebody doing the weekly maintenance.
So
what is this grossing?
A little over 100,000. I was
annually?
103,000 annually. Yeah,
annually.
That's gross.
So about $10,000 a month. This is bringing in like $8,000 to $10,000 a month, right? And you pay $7,000 for it. So you probably clearing like after your debt service and everything like that, probably like $5,000 a month.
You got this down pat.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Yeah.
So you're making about $60,000 on a $750,000 investment, but you say let's talk about funding now.
Yeah.
Let's transition into this part of the game because now you say you got an SBA loan. First of all, tell the people what is an SBA loan.
So SBA 7A loan is specifically what we use to go out there and purchase self-storage facilities. So when you think about FHA, right, you got to do 3.5% down, is tailored towards new home buyers. The SBA 7A loan is tailored towards newbie self-storage investors, right? So all you got to do is come to the table with 10% down, and the SBA will guarantee the loan. And a lot of people get it confused because they think that the SBA is the lender. No, you have a lender, but the SBA is going to guarantee that loan. You come to the table with 10%, and they'll finance the rest as long as it makes sense and it hit that debt service coverage ratio.
And what debt service are they looking for SBA?
1.25.
1.25. This is definitely hitting way over 1.25.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely over 1.25. Yeah. Wait a minute, hold on. So you did an SBA loan, $750, 10% down, 75 bands plus closing. Let's just call it 100 bands. And that 100 bands is netting you $60K a year profit.
Yep.
Fuck a multifamily.
Why you think I'm here?
What we talking now?
Why you think I'm here? That's
how to make a fortune off of storage facilities. Wait
fact.
A minute. Hold on. Because I just did that math in my head real quick. And I'm probably a little off by $1 or $2. But, yeah.
Yeah. And now I don't have to deal with the headaches of somebody calling me at midnight, talking about the kitchen sink is clogged or the toilet is clogged or the neighbors upstairs is too loud. I don't get those phone calls, right? Like that's really why I'm in it. I'm gonna be honest with you because, being in a residential space, in the apartment space, the multifamily space, I made good money in it, but I was a slave to it, to be honest with you. Even though I had property managers, you still got to answer. They still got to answer to you.
You got to manage the property managers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I basically got a day job at this point, right? I'm getting my cash flow, but I'm still kind of hands-on in the business. So for me, self-storage was a way for me to, I still manage the business to a degree, but not as much. I could spend more time growing different ventures and being able to have time with my family and just kind of spread myself to do a little bit more with my time.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
So you got the SBA loan, 10% down. I know your interest rate is probably lovely.
Yeah, the interest rate.
What is it, like probably 4% or something like that? Because SBA is always lower.
Yeah, it's a 4.25
On a 20-year?
20-year.
So you got a 4.25 on an SBA loan. The government is your partner. You use OPM from the government.
That's a fact.
Got an amazing interest rate. Your cash flowing ridiculous. I mean, $60K.
So I want to take it a step further for you.
Keep
right?
going.
I want to break
going.
because I teach how to do this with no money down, period.
Okay,
right?
let's talk about it.
And a lot of people, they think that you need to have a bunch of money because that's what you've been told. And I'm living proof of it, right? When I told you my first deal, I put no money out of my pocket. Yeah, I gave up 50% equity. I'm cool with giving up 50% equity
it's your partner.
if I don't have to put no money out of my pocket. So that $100,000 roughly that you have to come to the table with on the SBA loan, I raised that from private investors, right? So what I do every single year, I have what I call a family legacy meeting. So I bring my aunts, my cousins, my uncles, my brothers, my sister. I bring everybody in the room, and then we talk about financial literacy strategies, right? My cousin, he works full-time job. He's a correction officer, right? So he works 60, 70 hours a week. He's a responsible person, pays his bills on time. That's all he know, right? With the family legacy meeting, I make sure that before you come to the meeting, you got to make sure that your credit reports is pulled up. You have to make sure that you have your LLC. I get you set up before the meeting. So I had my cousin, and a bunch of people come to the meeting, right? And I looked at my cousin's credit profile. He had an 800 credit score. Didn't even know it. He's like, damn, I didn't even know I had an 800 credit score. I just pay my bills on time. Like, I'm responsible. I said, yo, I want to show you that you could go get business credit or business funding. He said, what's that? So if I put you on my business, you can apply for business lines of credit, and then we can use that money to invest. I put him on my LLC, got him approved for $45,000 in 24 hours. What you think he said next?
Let's go.
Let's get more.
Yeah.
Like, let's get it, right?
Yeah.
So I said, cool. I just wanted to show you how this works. And then now I set him up with his own LLC. Obviously, it's steps that you have to put in place to make sure your business is set up the right way. But we went through that process, and now he got a $250,000 in 0% interest business credit cards, right? So I used some of his capital that he'll invest to partner with me. He lend out of his 401k, right? Because that money is just sitting there. And the stock market taking a beating, 401k taking a beating, you rather invest that money with me because you're going to make a better return. So now I raised that capital from my cousin, put it down on on a facility, and now I get from returns out of that 5+ K net that we make every single month. I'm giving him a percentage of that. But I'm not making all the money, but I don't have to spend any of my own money. I have a strong relationship now. I have a lender that's willing to do the exact same things, and we continuously build like that.
Capital stacks.
That's a fact.
Capital stacks. So you're using OPM to the fullest
To the max.
to build your storage facility portfolio.
Yep.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So raising capital is the name of your game.
That's a fact.
Using everybody else's bread and using as little as possible as yours.
Mm-hmm.
I like that family meeting, the legacy meeting, and making everybody pull their credit.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a great idea. I think everybody should do that.
It's a great idea. And because a lot of times we get stuck, right? You know, we coming up from the hood and we trying to get things started. We want to get into business and we hold ourselves back, not knowing that it's information out here that could change our lives. So if you get the information, I was fortunate enough to get the information, I invested, I took that next step, I bring it back to my family. Not everybody is jumping on board, but the ones that do, you put them in position and you teach them, and now we continuously do that same process and we go from there.
I like that. So let's get back to SBA real quick.
Yeah.
Right. What's the process of SBA? Like, how do you get approved for an SBA loan?
Great question. So, and I'm gonna be 100% real, right? Like, I'm gonna give you 100% transparent information. Yes, the SBA, they'll give you a loan, but you only have to come to the table with 10% down. However, you need to make sure that your documentation is in order, right? So they want to see a business plan. When you go and you looking to buy that facility, they want to know what are your plans with that facility, right? How do you plan to market and increase the revenue? What different streams of income will you generate? So we want to make sure we have a business plan. That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure that we have our personal finance statements, making sure that your asset and your liability column is, your debt to income ratio is not bad. And you being in the mortgage industry with the SBA, they do 50% debt to income ratio, which is very generous.
Very generous.
Very, very generous, right?
Very.
So just making sure that your credit profile is in position, you have the capacity to borrow, that you can afford this, have a business plan, fill out the necessary documents, right? Your business profile needs to be clean. And that's pretty much it. You go through that process. They're gonna send out the appraiser to make sure that the appraised value is there. But yeah, that's how it goes.
How long did it take to get approved for this SBA loan?
To get the commitment, it took about 45 days.
45 days for the commitment.
It took a little minute to get the
Okay.
commitment, because it was my first time, mind you, and I had to get all the documents, right? They said, oh, I'm sending documents in. It's like, all right, come back. We need this as well. All right, go get now I'm working with the seller as well, because the seller has to give me 3 years tax returns. Now they got to dig in their backyard.
So SBA want to see the seller's information
they want to see,
too.
yeah. They want to see what the business is doing, because essentially SBA, you're buying a business. That's why self-storage qualifies for the SBA 7A loan, because you're buying a business that has real estate attached to it. So that's why we want to see what the business is doing as well, and then we're gonna add the real estate and appreciation. You'll add that as well on top of it. But it's really, what is this? What is the cash flow? Is this business healthy?
Yeah, is this a viable business for them to kind of partner with you?
Facts.
So all right, so you go through that. It takes you 45 minutes to get 45 days to
get the commitment,
to
closing, maybe 60 to 90 days.
So about a 90-day close, give or take, low interest rate, and now the government is your partner.
Facts.
Basically, OPM, and you got some of the cheapest money that you can get for commercial real estate. Now you went through a little pain, because going through any type of government funding is not going to be easy.
Yeah,
but you got to stick to it.
Yes.
So if you were to give people 3 tips if they were going to apply for an SBA loan, what would be the 3 tips?
Great question. So I would say, number one, you want to make sure that you have bookkeeping. So as a small business owner, a lot of times we don't manage our books. So you QuickBooks, Wave apps, whatever you utilize, make sure that your books is in order. So when SBA asks you for a P&L statement or a balance sheet, you can go and get it. You don't have to make something up and pull it out of nowhere or be stuck in a deal. So I would definitely say have your bookkeeping in order to make sure your documents is available. Number 2, I would say make sure that your credit profile is clean, because they're gonna look at your character, the credit profile. And then number 3, have a game plan, right? Just because they're gonna ask you questions. And be honest with me, I like working with the SBA and lenders in general, because they have your best interest at heart, because they're giving you the money. So if the deal doesn't make sense, they're not going to approve it. If my lender not approving the deal 9 times out of 10, I don't want the deal, because if they're not approving it, that means it's not a
viable deal.
Exactly. So that's what I would. That's the 3 tips that I would.
Using the bank to help you analyze too, because if they don't like it, then you don't like it.
I don't like it if they don't like it.
You need the money.
Yeah.
Now, can you get multiple SBA loans?
Yeah, you can get. So they approve you from $350,000 up to $5 million with the SBA 7A loan. So you can buy 5 facilities for $1 million each, or you could buy one $5 million facility, but it caps at $5 million. After that, you will have to transition over to the 504 loan, and that goes up to $20 million. So once you tap out of the SBA 7A, then you just transition over to 504, and after that, then you have to just do conventional banks and things like that.
So the government will basically fund business owners like yourself up to $20 million if you can scale to that level. Basically,
absolutely.
Incredible. I like the way this conversation is going right now. This is a lot of information. Drop some gems in the comments, y'all, if y'all like what my man Ramel is talking about. Because this SBA loan is definitely like a hidden gem. Not too many people only found out about SBA, in all honesty, when PPP came out. But SBA has been around forever. And especially funding commercial real estate deals. So I'm glad you brought some light to this. So let's talk about, before we get out of here, right? Because we're not going to keep you all day. We know you're a busy man. You got ish to do. So we spoke about the Storage Facility 101s, but I want to know, like, what are the top 5 areas to invest in for storage facilities?
So that's a loaded question, right? If you think about multifamily. It depends. If you want to go cheaper and you want to buy something in Detroit or Milwaukee, you can go that route. Your equity is not going to be there, but you get the cash flow. But if you invest in somewhere like New York,
Like
or
New York, you'll get the equity.
You get the equity. So it really just depends on your strategy.
So let's take it. All right. So let me rephrase that. So let's take it for the first timer who's looking to get into storage facility game. They may not have millions of dollars, right? So they got to go like the route that you went, right? You said you couldn't afford New York. You went to Pennsylvania. So if someone's looking just to be a small commercial storage facility owner, what are the 5 states that you would recommend them to go to?
I would say Texas, number one, right? I would say Ohio and Texas and Pennsylvania. Those are my top 3, 4. If you're starting out, because Texas, they're wide, they're building. A lot of people is moving down there, but the market hasn't caught up yet, right? So the pricing is not as high as it's gonna be. So you can still enter that market as it's still rising. Ohio, it's the Midwest. You can definitely get a good bang for your buck, and Pennsylvania. That's what I would.
Why should we invest in storage facilities? What's the pros, the con, the good, bad, and the ugly? We need to know this.
Yes.
Talk to us.
So we need to invest in self-storage facilities because if you want cash flow, appreciation, equity, you want to get the tax advantages without having to deal with tenants, trash, or toilets, that's where you need to be. And a lot of times we actively generate income, but we don't have a place to put the income so that can hold and continue to give you some distribution. So that's why we need to invest in a self-storage business. And my plan, this is my future plan, buying up these smaller mom and pop facilities, because most people, when we think about self-storage, you think of the big guys, right? U-Haul, Public Storage, Cube Smart,
that's what we
Extra
got.
Space.
Yeah.
But those are the big franchises, right? The REITs, right? Those are the big dogs. I go after mom and pop, independent, small self-storage facilities, and my goal is to buy them up, right? Build them up, add different streams of income. And I want to talk about that really quick before we jump out and get some game. But add different streams of income, increase the value, and now 5 years I'm going to exit and sell to the big dog, like Public Storage and Extra Space, to these REITs, and now cash out, and then I can continuously reinvest. So that's the plan.
Extra streams of income.
So this is what I
it.
love about self-storage. Most people, how many streams of income do they say that an average millionaire has?
7,
right? That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happens is a lot of people, when they try to get multiple streams, they go into different industries.
Absolutely.
And they're chasing their
Jack of
tails.
all trades, but a master of none.
With self-storage, you could actually generate multiple streams from this one asset, right? And I'll break this down. So with my 88-unit facility, I have vending machines as well. So I have 2 vending machines on the facility. And now that's additional stream of income. Is passive. I only pay somebody to go up there and change out the snacks and the drinks here and there on a monthly basis. But now I'm generating more capital. I have partnerships with moving companies, because when people rent out the units, they need somebody to move their items back and forth. Well, I'm going to refer you to my moving company that I partner with, and now I'm going to get commissions. So that's another stream of income. Amazon drop-off. So I set up a location where we can drop off the packages. When you order from Amazon, it's holiday season, Black Friday. Well, you could drop off your packages at my storage facility, and now we generating more traffic, right? On top of that, you could actually partner with U-Haul, right? So not at the 88-unit facility, but my one in Tennessee, I have a partnership with U-Haul where they have an office in the building, and they pay their own employees. They run the trucks and everything, the transportation, but they give me 30% commission of the profits. So these are just ways where I could generate multiple streams and not necessarily have to manage that business. 'Cause I don't want to get in to do more work, right? I just want to better utilize my asset to provide different jobs and generate more income. So that's what we're doing. We kind of go on. And one thing that I'm working on right now as we speak is making some of the units content spaces.
Okay.
Right? So you see how we got the studio here?
Yeah. Because this is definitely like a 1-bedroom storage facility.
Exactly.
Right here. Yeah.
So just dress up the storage unit just like this, and then rent it out. Charge people to come shoot their podcast. And just
Big
keep rolling.
gem.
Yeah, I'm saying so. That's the reason. That's
Big
the
gem.
vision that I have, and that's what I love about the self-storage business, because you can do things like that. You can get creative, but you still get the ownership. You get the cash flow, the appreciation, the equity it builds over time. And then most importantly, you pass that down. I'm you can do whatever you want to do with it.
How to make a fortune off of storage facilities. My guy, Ramel, thank you
Appreciate
for coming
bro.
in studio today.
Yes, sir.
Tell them how to find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Mogul Lifestyle _. You can find me on YouTube, Mogul Elite Club, and TikTok, Mogul Lifestyle _. Steady drop game on the commercial real estate and credit space. So yeah, tap in.
Look, man, we kept this short and sweet for y'all, so you don't have no attention spans with this one, right? We don't need you all over the place. So rewind this, go watch this again, like, comment, share, subscribe. There was a lot of game in this video. Make sure you guys go to mgbookstore.com, get the pre-sale for the Real Estate Investors Manifesto. Man, this was an amazing episode. Tap in with my guy Ramel, and you never know. Turn that bell on. What they say? Turn the bell on for notifications too. Turn the bell on. Yeah, turn on the bell for notifications because you never know we're going live. The studio is set up. We're gonna be going live. Hell, I might go live in 20 more minutes with a whole new episode or something too. Who knows? So tap in. Matt Garland here. NMLS number 58700, but better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Peace.